2024 had me stressed. While everything looked good on the outside, behind the scenes, I was struggling all year to make ends meet. There were times when this setback had me contemplating giving it all up to go get a job. But I'm deciding to turn my setback into a comeback. And I'm going to show you how I am rebuilding my business from the ground up and the tools that I'm using to do it. Before we jump into everything, I should introduce myself. I am Stephanie Grant. I am an Atlanta-based beer writer, and I have been working in the industry since 2018, full-time in 2020, and in 2021, decided to make my dream of working for myself come true. Now, this first tool probably needs no introduction. It is the 12-Week Year, which is a phenomenal book that shows you how to set goals that you actually are going to obtain and to set those goals within 12 weeks. There are 4 main parts to a 12-week year. First is creating a vision. So what do you want to do in the next 3 to 5 years? Then it's setting a goal to get to that vision. And then you want to break those goals down further into bite-sized pieces. Those are the actions you'll be doing for 12 weeks. And then you want to look at your progress along the way. When you review your goals and your progress regularly, you can actually accomplish your goals, because it's all too easy to set goals at the beginning of the year and then by June, you've totally forgotten what you were supposed to be doing. So this system is great because it encourages you to check in on your progress regularly, and it gives you that short window of time to look at your goals. So you're only focused on that and you're not focused on the entire year. So first, let's talk about vision. If I'm honest with myself, I was not on the right track to reach my vision. I figured out, I think in 2023, that freelancing, which is a lot of the work that I was doing, was not going to work for me. And I say that it's not going to work for me because what I wanted was something that I could scale, and the work that I was doing was not scalable. When I had a virtual assistant, I barely felt like I could assign tasks away, not because I felt like I needed to do them, but because the way that the project was structured, it had to be me to do the work. So to give you an example, if I were to pitch a publication about an article I wanted to write, that's my article to write. That is not something that I can delegate. And so I realized, like, probably a few years into my business, that the model that I had created for myself was not working. I think retainers are great because you know exactly how much money is coming through your business every month. But the problem with that is that I was bogged down with so much retainer work that it made it difficult for me to go look for other work outside of what I was currently doing, which again goes against what I really wanted, was a business that I could scale. Before I even sat down to do a reflection, I knew that this was a problem that I needed to solve in my business, and that was definitely top of mind while I was working through my the visioning period of this process. I will tell you that I am very guilty of being introspective around this time of year. Reflection has always been a part of my goal setting process. I should also tell y'all, I am a Capricorn and love planning and organizing and all of those things. So this is also something I very much enjoy. A few years ago, I found out about the Year Compass, and it has been my go-to way of reflecting. What I love about this, one, it is a free download. You can print it out as I have, or you can do it online. And one of my favorite exercises, which is actually the first one, they have you go through your calendar and put down all of the events that you've had during the year. So anytime you've hung out with your friend, or you did date night with, or say you had like a big project, you put all of that stuff down on here, the good, the bad, whatever it is, however you feel about it, doesn't matter, but put it down. And it's wild because when I did this exercise this year, I've had this like underlying stress throughout the year. And when I looked at all of the things that I've done this year, I was amazed at how great this year looked on paper. Even though I know, yes, this year was tough for me and that wasn't captured by my calendar, it really made me appreciate all the things that I was able to enjoy and accomplish this year. I went to Europe for the first time. I went to Paris and Italy for my birthday. I actually ended up back in Europe to go to Belgium, which is just a beer lover's paradise. And I also got nominated for a James Beard Award, which was incredible. There were so many great things that happened this year. I mean, I didn't even mention the amount of support that I've gotten from my community this year, the friends that I was able to lean on. I spent a good bit of this year frustrated, stressed, afraid, and just in a way felt pretty defeated about what was happening with my business. You get throughout the booklet, it just really asks you some really great questions about your year. Things like, what's the wisest decision that I've made, the biggest lessons I've learned, the biggest risk I've taken. It'll walk you through a bunch of questions about your year, really pull out the things that you loved, the things that you would like to do less of, the things you would like to do more of, and really help you figure out what the hell actually happened in the year. There's also some prompts to help you envision what you want your next year to look like 3 things I will love about myself, 3 things I'm ready to let go of, 3 things I want to achieve the most. I find this booklet is very good at helping me to synthesize, gather, reflect on all the things that have happened in the year and get me ready for the next. I would suggest not skipping the vision part because it's so vital to setting goals, because without knowing where you want to go, you won't be able to plan for it. Once I had my vision in place, I started to think about ways I could get there. So my main goal for this year is to create the foundation for a scalable business that is chill, low stress, and joyful. Now, that's not really a smart goal. So instead of that being, let's say that's my vision for this year. So what does that goal look like for me? That for me is an income goal. I mentioned that my finances were in shambles, in 2024. And so this year we're gonna focus on getting that together. Realizing my business last year was that I was doing way too many different things and spreading myself so thin, where I was doing things, good, but I wasn't doing anything great. And I decided this year, we're just gonna focus in on one thing. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I'm gonna say it out loud. It terrifies me, but it's something I've wanted for a while. So I would love for my business to bring in $100,000 in revenue. That would allow me to pay myself well. And I'm lucky enough to have low operating costs at the moment. So I plan to use a portion of that revenue to invest back into the business, whether that's buying equipment for the business or that is going to more conferences, doing more workshops. We need to pay for education or help or like a coach. All of those things I would love to be able to do with ease. Also, I want to have just a nice padding of money in the business. So when things happen, like maybe I'm having a slow month, I still have money to pull from to pay myself. So that's the goal. Now, how am I going to get to $100,000 by the end of the year? All right, now that I have my main goal, I need to figure out how to break that down into smaller steps, because just saying I'm going to make $100,000 this year and one, not knowing how to do it, I won't accomplish it. And two, even if I know how to do it, doing that over the course of 365 days, 52 weeks. Like, I need some small bite-sized targets to hit and not keep looking for further down range. Plus, think about how overwhelming that is. Think about how stressful that could be. And I've already said I want a low stress business. Starting with my big goal of making $100,000, I could approach this two different ways. I could equally break up the amount of money that I want to make over the course of 4 quarters. So it'd be like 25,000 for every quarter of the year. But I decided to do it a little bit different. I have my income goal for the first quarter of the year set for 18K, and I set it a little bit lower because I'm trying to pivot my freelance business into a service-based business. And I know that's going to take a little bit of time to get traction. And I don't want to set a goal that has me that has me stressed. Because remember, I'm trying to create a business that is low stress. Because we know you can't own a business and not be stressed. There's going to be stress, but I want the stress to be low. This is where the 12-week year comes in and does its thing. Okay. First, I only have to think about the next 12 weeks. And then second, it forces me to break down that big goal into smaller, more actionable steps. First thing that I want to do is break down that income goal. And then also breaking down these goals into more actionable steps and containing it within 12 weeks helps me to not get overwhelmed by all the things that I need to do. It provides more focus and attention to the things that I absolutely need to do to move the needle on this. And I think that just falls right in line with my goal to not have a stressful business. I want low stress, low. I really focus in on the things that I know I need to do to build the foundation of this business. And I should probably tell you what the business is before we get into how I broke it down into these bite-sized pieces. I want to take my storytelling, writing, technical writing, and user experience knowledge and help people show up better online. I don't know about you, but every time I hear about a new business, I immediately hit them up online. I check out their socials, I check out their website, and I can't tell you how many businesses just really miss the mark sometimes when you go to look them up online. And my goal is to help them tell their stories better so that it makes it easier for people to want to buy from them. There are a few things that I have identified that I need to do in order to reach this goal in the next 12 weeks. And before I get into how I'm breaking that big goal down into smaller ones, I have to talk about my Ink and Volt planner. Let me tell you, I think this is my 3rd time using this planner. I actually did not use it last year, which, you know, I probably should have used it last year. But I love this planner because it has prompts in the very beginning to help you bring, as they say, bring your year into focus. So very much like the year compass, it has you do some reflections. These are slightly different, but still reflections. It has you come up with a theme and a vision, and then we'll ask you, how are you planning to break your year down into bite-sized goals? It even has pages in here where you can add your goals and all the actions you need to take. It's really, I mean, this is such a great companion for the 12-week year. By the way, none of this is sponsored. It's such a great companion for it. There are even prompts throughout the book when you start planning your week and your week goals. It will ask you, did you go look at your goals for the year? Did you go look at your monthly goals? All of that to continuously prompt you to look at your goals so that they're always top of mind. Because if they're not, then you're not going to accomplish them. I use this to write down my goals. So I'm going to flip that open to that page. And as I mentioned on here, I have generate 18K by the end of March, and I have 6 different bite-sized goals or actions that I need to take in order for me to get where I want to be. And so the first on there is to update my digital presence. There are a few pieces of my online presence that I need to update with what this new direction is going to look like. And that's my website, that's my social media. And I've been making some updates here and there, but my plan is by Valentine's Day, I will have all of those pieces in place. The next goal I have on here is to launch a lead magnet so I can start growing my email list. Email list is vital to a business, especially one online. It's the best way for you to show your expertise, to connect with your customer, and potential customers. It's just one of the best ways for you to stay on top of mind and to be able to sell your services or your products to your customer. Social media is a great place to do that connection with customers, but in reality, once you have that following on social, you want to move people over to email as soon as possible so you know exactly who is interested in your things. Someone who likes your social media posts versus someone who signs up for your newsletter, those are 2 different levels of support. And that newsletter lets you know that they're willing to take that next step with you and could potentially take another step into becoming one of your clients. So that is very important to me, and I would love to get my lead magnet out. I will get my lead magnet out by January 21st. The next thing that I'm going to do is create a content strategy for my business. One of the services that I will be providing to my clients is creating a content strategy, whether that's for their website or for their newsletter or their social media presence. I will help them figure out what kind of content do you need to create for your audience? What do they need to hear from you in order to help them make a decision? And what kind of goals do you want to reach with this newsletter? And what goals do you want to reach with your content? Because those 2 things are so incredibly important when you're thinking about putting content out. Who are you talking to? And what are you trying to accomplish? And so I need to do that for my own business. So I'm planning to do that, honestly, if not the first week of the year, then at least by January 15th. My next goal is to create an outreach strategy. Outreach is not my favorite thing to do. I will admit it's not my favorite. I don't feel comfortable with it. I much rather create than just send people emails asking them if they would like to work together. But I'm going to figure out a way to do it that feels good to me. And I know that it probably won't be comfortable in the first few weeks of it, but that's something that I just need. I think with time and effort and putting in the practice, I will get better and more comfortable with it, and it will be like second nature. And so that's what I'm hoping to feel by the end of January, as my goal is to have a good strategy and goals for outreach by the end of the month. My next goal is to plan for the Craft Brewers Conference. It's the largest conference in beer, and that's the industry that I'm working in, even though I am expanding my services beyond beer to just the beverage industry. But I'm hoping to attend that conference this year, and I need to start planning because it is going to be around the corner. Last goal for my first 12 weeks, the first quarter of 2025, is to speak at Craft Beer Con. Craft Beer Con is a conference that happens here in Atlanta. I need to get my pitch into them. I already know what I want to talk about, but I need to get my pitch into them at the end of the month, at the end of January. So I've shared with you how I use the 12-week year, how I came up with my vision, how I set my goals, how I broke those down into bite-sized goals and what they are. And the last step is to make sure that I check on my progress regularly. My Ink and Volt planner is definitely going to be a major part of that. As I mentioned, there are opportunities throughout the journal to prompt you to check on those goals. But I also am planning to track progress through the revenue that I'm bringing into the business and looking at email signups. There are all kinds of metrics that I can use to track my progress. And so I'll be doing that. I can make a video on how that looks for me if you're interested. More updates on my journey, please subscribe. I will be sharing all the things that I'm doing to reach these goals, to build the business that I love, to build a business that's chill, low stress, and joyful. I'll be sharing all of that here, taking you on that journey with me. And that's it for me. Thanks for watching.